Come on, let's go outside. Let's take a walk in the sun. There are things to learn and things to see. A big wide world for you, your dog, and me. Dog Talk. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Dog Talk. I'm Pat Becker, you know, my co-host Rusty.
Good morning, Pat.
And we have Jerry and Phil with us today. And I happened to run into them at a rescue that I visited recently. So tell me, this is Scotia.
This is Scotia.
So Jerry, where did you get Scotia and how did you get that name?
Scotia is from Pet Angel Rescue. And I read a book several years ago and the guy had a dog named Scotia, and I said, if we ever get a female dog, it's going to be Scotia.
I love it. I love the whole term. I think it is so sweet. And it's so different from most of the dog names that you see.
Yes.
You can always remember it.
Absolutely. And we call her Scotia.
Yes. So Phil, is this dog, usually the female dogs in a group, in a family with partners, usually go to a male. Does she like you?
She likes me very well. Her and Jerry are very, very close, though.
Yeah, but I can tell
They really
she goes to
bonded as
daddy.
soon as they met.
That's for sure. So Pet Angels is the rescue that has been around for a long time. Dana is such a hard worker, and I'm so proud of everything that she has done. They have a new building, a new facility. Everybody needs to get out there. It's just a little north of Waterloo Road. In Edmond, it would be just a little south of Guthrie. And so, you know, look it up, folks, and go and visit there. She has a wonderful, wonderful staff that will help you and guide you through the adoption of some of these dogs, because she rescues dogs from, you know, all kinds of situations, and I applaud her for that. She even has a couple horses up there,
Yes.
I noticed too. So we have made Scotia the dog of the week, and you all the handlers of the week. And we have some toys in here for her.
Toys.
Yeah, does she like toys?
She loves toys.
Look at that, she says, I think I do. I like that toy. And we have a $100 gift certificate from A1 Pet Emporium for you two, and to take her in to get her some extra toys and whatever it is that she needs. And we thank you so much for coming in. You know, when I saw you guys out there, and this little dog is so alert and so aware. She watches everything. Nothing gets away from her.
She's a guard dog.
Oh,
She's your guard. Wow, a lapdog that guards.
Yeah, a friendly dog that guards.
Yes, well, they were bred to be guard dogs.
Well, apparently, I mean, originally they guarded the palaces and the emperor's place.
Yeah,
exactly.
the
And I think mainly what they did was look fierce and run at you like that, you know. But these dogs make wonderful family dogs too.
So Jerry and Phil, I have a question. What's the best part about having her in your family?
I think she keeps us active. She loves to walk.
She loves to walk,
And she
keeps us
loves to
going.
go to the dog park.
Okay.
Oh,
so she gets so the whole family gets out and about with her.
Right.
Well,
So she keeps us active.
Gets us up and active.
And
That's
that
good.
is for everybody. Gosh, folks, it's a wonderful thing, you know, to be able to express it, to articulate it. That's just excellent, because that's what it's all about, is it not? Well, we appreciate so much you coming on, and you guys have a wonderful day. Scotia, you have a good day too, sweetheart, and go over to A1 Pet Emporium and just go wild
We
in there.
will. Thank you.
Thank you guys.
We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
A1 Pet Emporium is Oklahoma's authority on healthy nutrition for dogs and cats. Quality does not have to cost more, and we only have the best. If your pet suffers from allergies, digestive issues, skin infections, or hair loss, it may be the result of their diet. A1 Pet Emporium can help. We offer pet portraits monthly, adorable rescue animals every Saturday from noon to 4, and free dog and cat food samples. Locally owned and operated, we want to be your neighborhood pet store.
Everyone knows that in accepting the responsibility for having a dog is enormous. And the cost, well, some people don't think about the cost when they make the investment of adopting a dog or buying a puppy. So we checked with Dr. Laura, and she gave us some pretty good definitive answers on how much it costs to own a dog. Watch this.
Great information.
Dr. Laura, today I'd like to talk about the economics of dog ownership. We get so many people who make mistakes because they didn't think about it. They work off of an impulse. This is a cute little face, that's a darling little puppy, and they make big mistakes there. So what would your advice be?
I think that my first piece of advice, basically what you said, is never get a dog based on emotion. So you have to be conscientious. Am I making a logical decision or am I making an emotional decision? And I think that has to do with people's understanding that getting a dog on a whim is not an easy addition to your family. And so that's one thing. The first thing is don't get a dog because you're emotional about it. I think the second thing that's really important is to do the research and spend a little time coming up with what breed is right for me or my family at this point in our lives.
So let's talk then about if you select your dog, then what are the economics involved in ownership?
Well, first thing, a lot of people spend a lot of money on purchasing a dog from a good breeder. I believe in solid breeding and crossing their T's and dotting their I's, and you're going to pay for a well-bred dog. Or even if you rescue one from either an individual rescue or from the shelter, you may pay a nominal fee for those dogs. But there are a lot of other expenses that occur, especially within the first year of puppyhood. So you're going to see your veterinarian at least 3 to 4 times in the first 6 months of life for vaccination series, deworming, heartworm and flea preventative, and then spay and neuter. So it's very important to consider how much those items cost. And you can easily check out from your veterinarian that you trust, saying, well, how much is it going to cost to get through the first few months of puppyhood? Now, that being said, that's with an entirely 100% healthy dog. I would be remiss to say that I've met anyone with a 100% healthy dog. So they may have problems, they may have issues, and you have to factor in the cost of an emergency visit or going in for urgent care if say they have vomiting or they have diarrhea or they've done something that a puppy shouldn't have done. You need to consider that as a cost.
So then are you saying that basically all veterinarians charge the same thing?
Unfortunately, there's no true standard of cost. A lot of it has to do with the area that you're located in. So some veterinarians may not charge very much for the original puppy series, whereas with others they may have a more increased fee.
It is an occupation. It is a profession. So we acknowledge that veterinarians definitely need, the support that way financially. Some veterinarians volunteer, I know, a great deal, which is a blessing for us all. So when you're going in, if you're talking about taking your dog in and getting, as you say, a checkup, how far should you go with that economically?
Well, certainly it depends on really what you're getting at that moment in time. When we do, say for example, when I do a puppy visit, I'm going to spend a lot of time talking about behavior and socialization, housebreaking. That takes a great deal of time to make sure that we're troubleshooting, looking at lifestyle, making good decisions for both the owner as well as the dog. And then all necessary vaccinations, so looking at what age they are, whether they've had vaccines in the past. And then certainly we look at, especially for dogs here in Oklahoma, heartworm prevention and flea and tick prevention. So there's a lot of education that occurs during a true puppy visit. So if you go and get a vaccination, which I encourage everyone to do.
Annually or every 3 years?
Well, it depends on the vaccination. So in the puppy series, you have to have 2 to 3 of each vaccine, depending on the age of the dog. And then we start annually the first year, and then every 3 years thereafter for viral diseases, so rabies, distemper, parvo, parainfluenza, those
Kennel
we do.
cough?
Kennel cough is a bacteria, so we oftentimes will do that every year.
Should every dog get it? Say a dog that doesn't leave the house?
I think that's a good question. I usually have long discussions with my owners to determine a pet's lifestyle. The dog who's going to get kennel cough is not the dog who goes to the boarding facility all the time. They have great natural exposure, so more than likely they have great natural immunity. It's the dog who's been in the house for all this time, not exposed to any of these bacteria or viruses. that goes to the kennel for the first time, they may not have the same natural immunity.
Or a public park or something of
Exactly.
that kind of thing. So when should you ask for an extensive blood work or anything like that?
Well, I certainly think that a lot of that depends on breed. So there are some breeds that are more prone to some inherited disease conditions. That's kind of a discussion you'd have with your veterinarian. But typically, we run blood work before spay or neuter, so it gives us a baseline, helps us choose with appropriate anesthesia. But then we have a baseline for that pet. And then I usually recommend, depending on their health, after they've hit the senior years, so starting at age 7, do we routinely do blood work? And more importantly, and this is very much my opinion, checking their kidney function by doing a urinalysis. And then every year checking for heartworm and tick-borne disease, especially in the areas of the country where we have a problem.
And you know, I think too, the whole issue is well put when you say to someone, you're adopting a dog or you are buying a puppy, here's what it could cost you yearly. Do you have any idea what it cost?
I believe that there has been a number of research studies to look at the actual cost. I think for the first year of having a puppy, it probably is going to cost most owners, depending on the area of country you're in, between $1,000 and $1,200.
Yes, and I think statistically that's pretty basic. And of course, taking into consideration some of the predispositions for some of the breeds that have certain diseases that you should check for, I assume. So what do you think about getting health insurance?
I think that it's a really good option for a lot of pet owners. I have found that my pet owners that have had health insurance for their pet have much more ability and flexibility when it comes to their care, and they're more willing to do tests that maybe that they didn't have health insurance to look at and make sure that they're being a little bit more conscientious of things. So they tend to say yes to more testing, and I think that especially with a sick animal, that is invaluable to get that information. A lot of times when we have a sick pet, if we're restricted by finances, which is understandable, you have to kind of make decisions in a very logical and conscientious way, but that also takes time. And so if you have a sick animal that you need to run a battery of tests on, if you're limited by finances, then I think that pet insurance would help you to run those tests in a timely manner and potentially then save your pet's life if it was pressing and they were very ill.
Yes, I think we'd be remiss if we didn't mention also the expense of some kind of injury. Surgery is very, very expensive, and you can spend thousands of dollars. Any kind of surgery like that, it's very expensive. So you have to, hoping that it doesn't happen, and monitoring your dog, of course, is very important, but it could happen. So you could end up saying with that $1,200 to $1,500 a year, also the extra expense. You have to kind of make the decision of, I've got to keep that in mind before I do this, because the alternative, the option would be not to give that dog the care that it needs medically.
Absolutely, and the other thing is doing something halfway. So knowing that they have a problem, but then not being able to fix it. That's really frustrating. So knowing, say your dog does have an ACL tear and they need to have surgery, then the problem is then you're not able to fix it. And then you have a long-term issue that comes from that. So I think that pre-planning and understanding that there are a lot of costs involved, and it's not that veterinarians are doing it because they want to make a lot of money. What they're trying to do is give you the best advice and make the most logical decisions based on the findings that they have when they look at your animal and when they run diagnostic tests on them.
So bottom line, and that is very profound, I think that probably says it all, but definitely be aware when you adopt or get a puppy of the responsibilities financially involved.
Absolutely. If I could have every single one of my clients have a savings account for their pet, and every month they put a little bit aside, then when something catastrophic happens, then they have money to reach for. And I think that pre-planning goes a long way.
That's profound, and I think that we'll take that to heart. Thank you so much, Dr. Laura.
Thanks, Pat.
Pat, that was some great information. It's really important to consider everything when you're bringing in a new dog or a new puppy to your family.
Absolutely.
So coming up next, Trisha Clark with A1 Pet Emporium is going to be here. So
I'm
it ought to be fun.
excited.
Great.
Hey, Dog Talk fans, make sure you join the conversation on social media. Just go to facebook.com/dogtalktv. We'd love to hear a story of your furry friend, so send us an email to pat@dogtalktv.com. You could be featured as our Dog of the Week. Now, enjoy the show.
Welcome back. We're here with Trisha Clark, A1 Pet Emporium, and Kim Pimpin. How are you doing this morning?
Thank you.
And of course, Kim is from Pet Food Pantry.
Yes.
So tell us what's going on with Pet Food Pantry.
My goodness, we are so busy these days.
I can imagine.
Probably the grandest thing that just happened. We are part of finally getting kennels in at Homeless Alliance.
Oh my
Wow.
goodness.
Pets.
I think that's awesome.
So yeah, that just happened, and then we have another couple of places that we're talking to, domestic violence places that we are partnering with to get kennels down there. So
you're not just
Yeah.
providing food, you have expanded to this kind of thing.
yes, and what we try to do is be a lot for resources for everybody. You know, I had a lady call me yesterday that would like to apply for the Pet Food Pantry, and there were some things that we talked about with some of her pets. A young dog that she just took in that clearly is too much for her. So it's more about resource too.
Yeah, so let me ask you then, do you have an umbrella organization then for all of this that you're calling it besides Pet Food Pantry?
No, we're staying true to what we do.
Okay.
But we're tapping out to some other resources, other funders that, like on the kennels, that are willing to fund that, but not necessarily under the Pet Food Pantry. We want to stay true to what we're doing and then bring in some partners on that too.
So Trish, what part do you play in this other than furnishing a lot of food?
We do a lot. You know, Kim and A1 Pet Emporium, you know, we kind of all started right about the same time.
Yeah.
And so we've been, you know, very passionate about what Kim does. And so, you know, every holiday season we have a big, you know, food drive. And then, you know, they helped out when we had our Customer Appreciation Day and were there. So, I mean, we do a lot to try to help educate people on what the Pet Food Pantry does and what they stand for, and also do what we can in our power to help, you know, support the Pet Food Pantry.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
all of your stores are drop-off locations
Yes,
for us.
yes.
Yes, which is perfect. Yeah, you talk about expanding your program. My gosh, A1 has done that too.
Yes.
Well, we are so proud, of course, Pat is a personal friend, and I consider you one also. But, you know, everything that you all have done contributes to the knowledge, to the strength, to the help for all of the pet advocacy issues that we have.
Right.
And that is so important, folks. If you at all think of donating to, and we have said this before, to an organization. Now, you're a 501c3.
Yes.
So these are deductible organizations. You can deduct your donation. And I love donating to the nationals, you know, that's so important. But do it locally first.
Yes.
Let's
Agreed.
support our local
Yeah, we were talking about
organizations.
that, you know, that there's just so many things locally that people can do to help, you know. I mean, yeah, there's great large national organizations, but, you know, we need help right here at home as well.
Absolutely,
So-
absolutely. And Oklahoma is so vast in the area, you know, that there are things that we need to cover that smaller vicinities and municipalities don't have the problems that
Right.
we do. But along that line, we would like to contribute and make a donation of $1,000 to your organization.
Oh, Pat. Thank you.
Well, we would like to sort of stay in contact. When I found out from Trish how you had expanded your projects, I said, you know, that falls into the line of everyone who's trying to do everything.
Right.
So we are going to kind of monitor you, and if you need help in this way, you give us a call, okay?
Oh, thank you so much.
And thank you so much for coming on, and thanks. Her Trish usually comes on with her little items and everything, and I said, make it a secret, keep it a secret now.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, she asked me, she said, who would you, recommend? And I said, Pat, I said, the animal rescues, they always can use money. I said, but Kim does so much more than just, animals, and it's such a wide, what you do is amazing.
Exactly.
We say we're the food bank for pets.
Yeah, and so,
Absolutely.
I just
Absolutely you
couldn't
are.
think of a better organization that could use this. So
Thank you so
you're so welcome,
much.
Dave.
A lot of love
really
going around
appreciate-
here.
Yeah, we really appreciate everything you do.
Everything you do. We're going to take a quick break, folks, and we'll be back.
A1 Pet Emporium is Oklahoma's authority on healthy nutrition for dogs and cats. Quality does not have to cost more, and we only have the best. If your pet suffers from allergies, digestive issues, skin infections, or hair loss, it may be the result of their diet. A1 Pet Emporium can help. We offer pet portraits monthly, adorable rescue animals every Saturday from noon to 4, and free dog and cat food samples. Locally owned and operated, we want to be your neighborhood pet store.
So Pat, you went out to the Oklahoma City Summer Classic, and you had a great time with the Pee-wees and the little handlers?
They were wonderful. And the children are the answer. If we can get these kids interested in showing dogs, working with dogs, playing with dogs, learning how to be responsible dog owners.
Homeowners, yeah, homeowners with dogs,
too.
yes.
But that's the important thing, and these kids were so excited, and they were so precious and so intense when they carried those little stuffed dogs around the ring. First we had the big Pee-wee guys, and so they had the real dogs.
Right.
And then we did the Pee-wee things, and it was so exciting.
Well, let's show everybody how it went.
It was great. You'll like it. We're here at the ring and ready to go. Getting ready to have all the darling little guys with their puppies coming in. And this is the Pee-wee event. And right after that, we're going to do the Pee-weer event. So we're going to have the little fake puppies and the kids, and we're going to tell them a little bit about how much fun it is to show dogs. And I have with me today Paula Tiller and Holly Milligan, and they are both so into this. And you are a director?
For the Oklahoma City Kennel Club, yes.
Yes, and Paula does everything.
Paula does a lot of different things.
Paula does a lot of the hands-on thing, which is so necessary. So we're looking forward to this. So this year we have how many kids?
We have 26 entered in the kids show.
26 kids. So this ought to be exciting. We're going to give it a go.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
We'll do it. Let's go. All right. can't tell you how much fun that was. Those kids were just great, and it's so entertaining, you know, and fun, you
Yeah,
know,
it
to
was
be
great.
around them, to
Yeah.
watch the joy that comes out of that kind of experience for them. It was wonderful. Folks, we've had a great show. Hope that you enjoyed it too. Let us know what you'd like to see, because that's the important factor for me and for Rusty. See you next week.
See you next week.
Dogs. We're talking about dogs. Talking about big dogs, talking about little dogs, oh yeah. Chasing the ball, chasing the cat, digging holes, thing like that. Dogs. Talking about dogs. Laughing dogs, sad dogs, happy dogs, mad dogs, dogs. Just talking about dogs. Lost and alone, running the street, checking the garbage, looking to eat. Out there sad and on their own, the law will get them if they got no home. Dogs, talking about dogs. Dogs, we're talking about dogs. You say they were angels sent from above, then a year or two later you fell out of love. You dumped them, man, and kicked them out. Now what the heck was that about? Dogs. We're talking about dogs. Dogs, them poor little dogs. Talking about big dogs, talking about a little dog, oh yeah. Chasing the ball, chasing the cat, digging the hole.